Billy got it bumping.
Leg drop, boot to the face, we won't fold. Quick to put a dude in this place, he out cold. With a tombstone, grapple the waist, get laid flat. Can't escape, nowhere to go, the cage match. It's on now, when I spot him, it's no problem. Everybody stone cold till they hit with the rock bottom. Sharpshooter, I won't miss him like Bret Hart. Like Al Snow, they gon' need him a head start. I just might catch a better body than Mickey James. Get acquainted with the name, we bringin' the pain. Like Kane in the ring, all I see is red. Paul era, Undertaker, I can see the dead. John Cena putting hands in your face. 10 DBS, keep a milli on the waist. B2TF, better stay in your place or get smacked down, play it safe. What you talking about?
Welcome to another episode of Boot to the Face, powered by FullPressCoverage.com. Go there for all your sporting wants and needs, where I am sure they will talk about the upset in week 0, that is college football, where the Florida State Seminoles fall to the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Shout out to my boy Dave in the, well, he's not Dave in the QC anymore. Where the fuck is Dave at now? Dave in Alabama. Flew all the way to Ireland, planned his vacation. Him and his lovely wife, E.J., flew over. They went to Spain, Madrid, all these places, all planned around going to the Florida State football game. And they go over there and get their asses smacked up by the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets.
Tragic. And our boy Jason Brown, he wasn't too happy about that either. Got some Florida State fans around scattered in the southeast.
Shout out to Jason. He's already in midseason form with trying to get Jameis Winston a job somewhere.
Really? I hadn't seen it.
Yeah, he was retweeting because they were talking about another quarterback made the second string for Cleveland. So Winston and another guy, I can't remember who the other they got 4 quarterbacks. Winston and the other one were on the trade block, and he's already tweeting other teams like the Raiders and other people like, y'all need to go get Jameis. He even tweeted CC's Pizza to give Jameis a fucking Jameis a job promoting them.
Hey man, you gotta appreciate how hard he goes for his boy. You know, he's a Florida State fan, so he's always riding with Jameis. I was kind of in between y'all because I know you were on the opposite side. You was kind of shitting on Jameis. I'm like, he's not good, but he's serviceable. But I don't think it's in the stars for him at this point. This is his 8th season. Yeah, I think
I wasn't shitting on Jameis. I was just fucking with Jason. I actually like Jameis Winston.
Yeah, he's with the Saints. I thought he was with the. Got picked up by like the Titans or somebody like that. Maybe did he get cut?
No, he's with the Browns.
Oh yeah, the Browns.
Yeah, he got signed to the Browns to back up Deshaun Watson. And honestly, to me, it's crazy that they would pick somebody else. Like, I think Jameis Winston is the perfect NFL backup. Your quarterback goes down like 4 or 5 games, he can get you 3 wins in that. He'll put up fucking 15 touchdowns, probably 10 picks, but he'll get you some wins in that. I don't think he's an every game quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, you are what you are, and yeah, like you said, he could go in there and get you some games and get paid millions as a backup. So, dude's living a comfortable life.
You won't steal any more crab legs.
I guess that joke is still stretching from 10 years ago.
It ain't a joke when it really happened.
He's 19. Imagine all the stupid stuff if people recorded all the stuff we did at 19. I did a lot worse. I just didn't get caught like him.
Yeah. I'd be canceled before I even started. What'd you get into this weekend, EJ?
I did an escape room on Saturday with a group of people.
I like that.
4 of us. It's my first time doing it in a group in a while. I've done it with just 2 people earlier this year, but you know, we did it on the hardest one. I'm not like an escape room person. It's just not how my brain is wired. But I was with some hardcore, the couple we were with were like some hardcore. They've done like every type of escape room and they do it on the hardest level. I'm like, all right, well, I hope y'all ain't expecting too much from me, man. I got a few little things here and there. but I didn't do the heavy lifting, and we were able to get out with like 10 minutes left. So, and it was
Nice.
one of the harder ones. So,
We talked about escape rooms on here before, haven't we?
maybe, I don't know, man. We've done a lot of shows.
I've only done one, and the one I did, me and Tabitha went, and we were the only ones there. So we got a lot of clues from the girl that worked there. But it was supposed to be like 8 people, and it was just us 2. And we got out, but we wouldn't have got out without her helping us. But I feel like we did well enough to where if there just would have been like another couple there, we probably would have still got out at the same time because we did really good. But there were certain times we just got fucking stuck because we didn't know.
Yeah, I can see me doing those when like at retirement age. They say a good way to keep your mind sharp is to do puzzles, and like that seems like it falls in that mold. So yeah, I can see myself maybe getting into those, but right now, once in a while is fine enough with me.
Yeah.
What you
I
get
had a
into?
busy weekend. Friday night, went with my girlfriend to meet her coworkers out for drinks. Saturday, we woke up, we went and worked out together at Orange Theory. And her sister's husband, and her sister's 2 sons were coming to stay with us. They were supposed to meet us here at 10 a.m. I was going to make breakfast on the Blackstone, but they got caught in traffic. And we had tickets to go to the Georgia Aquarium at 12. So we came back. I made breakfast for us, and we met them at the aquarium, which was a cool best experience I've ever had at the aquarium because we fell into like a backstage tour. Her husband was kind of like being a smartass at one of the doors that said, do not enter. And we were all kind of like joking around with him. And there was a worker there, and she was like, get your ass out of here. We were like, what the hell? And she goes, actually, you want to see something cool? And he was like, yeah. She was like, oh, y'all, come on. So she took us behind the scenes, like above the biggest tank that they got there. And we got to watch like the biggest whales that they got get fed, and the beluga whales. They like could hear us through the glass talking. And then she took us like where they were making the not algae. What the fuck is it called? I can't even think of the name.
Seaweed?
No, it's all the like little colorful rocks that are under the water. I
I
can't
don't
think of
know.
the name of. Anyway, they help with like 50% of the Earth's oxygen.
Mm.
So they're helping build that kind of shit. It was pretty dope. Like she was like, all right, now when the real tour comes through, we gotta leave because they paid for this. So we were basically getting the free ride of what other people were paying for. So that was fun. And then we went to a Braves game that night. And then Sunday I had, 2 football drafts and all in. So I couldn't wait to get to work to take a fucking break yesterday.
I hear that action packed weekend. How are the Braves doing this year?
They're like 12 games over 500. A lot of injuries. Acuna's out for the year. Austin Riley got hurt recently. Uh, we actually left early because we had, kids with us that were pretty fucking tired. They drove down from the Carolinas that morning. Nobody got to nap, and we were just like going from the time they got here. So the game started at 7:30. We left in like the 5th inning, and they were down 2-0. And by the time we got home, they hit 4 one-run home runs and won the game.
Oh wow, who they play again?
They played Washington the weekend I was there. The week I was there.
The National.
Yeah, and then I'm actually going again next week. It's Ludacris night on September 4th. I don't know what that means, but I don't know if they're gonna be giving away Ludacris bobbleheads or he's gonna perform. But we're going to that. They did a real cool thing once this year and once last year where they gave away Outcast bobbleheads, and they're in like a uh, convertible Cadillac, and it was a real hot item in Atlanta. Both times they did it. I missed it this year, and so I couldn't get down there to get it. But yeah, Braves, it's a fun thing, man. Cheap food, nice scenery. Braves got a good stadium to look at. It's a lot of other stuff to look at there. A lot of fun.
How packed do those stadiums be on like a random weekend series?
Well, this Saturday it was sold out. Like it was
Oh
like
wow.
18,000 people there. Like it was packed, especially at night. When the sun goes down, like it gets. it gets hyped, and the weather was beautiful this weekend too. So we've been in like the high 70s, low 80s.
Yeah, man. This is like the calm right before the fall weather. Like we're still in the end, I guess the end of summer right now. And I know you picked up the pumpkin spice already.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
Even though it's still
had to.
summer, it's getting out of hand. How
Ah,
fast people are starting the season changes before they happen. But you know,
normally I'm like pump your brakes on that, but anytime you can give me pumpkin spice, I'll take it.
hey, do what you gotta do, like what you gotta like. But yeah,
I only
man.
do it once a week, so it doesn't get old with me. Like people that drink that shit every day, they're probably like, "Oh, I'm over pumpkin spice," but I get mine every basic bitch Friday. That's it.
There you have it.
Yeah,
It's
it's a treat.
that
Sometimes
time
it's
of year.
iced, sometimes it's warm, sometimes it's a latte, sometimes it's a frappe, sometimes it's cold brew. Like, you know, switch
I,
it up. You know?
I can't really do the hot coffee in the summer. I gotta get like the ice. If I even do coffee, I rarely drink coffee, but it's gotta be ice in the summer. Too hot for that.
You know what I found out?
What's that?
Dunkin' has better iced coffee, and Starbucks has better hot coffee.
How much have you been doing research on this?
Years.
Oh yeah, okay. Years worth of research. Had a control subject and all of that. Did your
For example,
experimentation?
Starbucks doesn't do sugar-free iced Dunkin' or sugar-free iced pumpkin coffees.
Mm.
Dunkin' does. And I do the sugar-free. Now, Starbucks has sugar-free hot coffee, which makes no fucking sense, right? Like, if you got it hot, you got it cold. They're like, no, we don't. Okay, well, go fuck yourself. I'll go to Dunkin'.
Yeah, to get technical, it's like a cold brew method. Probably they don't do for one. I mean, they do for one, they don't do for other or whatnot.
Yeah, you got to say the right fucking Starbucks lingo in order to get them to do it. Like, had you asked for the grande mocha latte sugar free, we could have gave it to you, but you just asked for the fucking sugar free pumpkin. So we don't even know how to do that here. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, the coffee game is like a whole little niche community. Like,
Yeah.
hey, shout out to the coffee drinkers.
But yeah, that was it for the weekend. Besides All In and everything, and I mean, we got a jam packed show. EJ, you want to just jump into it?
Let's get it.
Let's talk about All In. AEW's biggest show, over 50,000 people there with a 1 o'clock start time here on the East Coast. I love me a midday pay per view for wrestling. Oh, it's just like it's like getting me ready for football. I made some lemon pepper wings in the air fryer.
Hmm.
Um, had a couple cocktails. It was just wonderful, and it was over at about 5:30. Had the rest of the night. I don't know how you feel about midday pay per views, EJ, but I love them.
I like them if they're on Sunday, especially with AEW and you know how long their shows go. But if I don't mind Saturday night, if it's a Saturday night, but if you do Sunday, I like the evening. I mean the afternoon. You know, PLE pay per view. You know, you could, like you said, make a little brunch, throw a little lunch, maybe, like you said, some wings, get a little cocktail, and after the show, you still got a lot of the day still left ahead of you. So I dig it.
Ironically, this was the shortest AEW pay per view in about 2 years. In the middle of the day, when they have it Sunday night, the shit goes to about 1 a.m.
I heard it's because something about the ordinances around London that they couldn't go past a certain time.
Hmm,
That means they should have more of their pay per views over there. Then, if that's the case,
right. Let's
yeah.
get into it. We don't have to talk about every single match. We'll just hit the big ones. Tony Storm loses her AEW Women's Championship to Mariah May. You know what? I'm sorry. Let's start at the pre-show. I almost forgot about it because I almost didn't fucking see it. The pre-show has Saraya come out talking shit about how she's the greatest wrestler in the history of the country of England, and Jamie Hayter comes out, beats up her entire family, and Jamie Hayter's back on the pre-show. Thoughts?
Yeah, you had complaints about it. They should have put it on the main show. It's like damn if you do, damn if you don't. They probably wanted to get eyes on it so people will buy the pay-per-view, and they did it on the pre-show. You got a lot of free eyes watching. So I mean, I'm pretty indifferent towards it, how they did it. But I'm glad she's back. It popped me because I was actually watching the pre-show. I'm like, oh shit.
I loved it and I hated it. I loved it because you need to be watching the pre-show. The pre-show ain't just filler. Like, shit happens on the pre-show. It's the biggest pay-per-view of the year. You should have been watching. I hated it because I wasn't watching the fucking pre-show. I saw the shit on Twitter and I'm like, man, I've been waiting months for this lady to come back. She doesn't even look like the same wrestler. She looks a lot smaller now.
And
Like,
then people, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say the first time she came, everybody said, "Is that Becky Lynch?" Now she really looks like Becky Lynch.
Yeah, and you just took the words out of my mouth. People were trying to put like Timu version Becky Lynch. For those people who are doing that, go fuck yourself.
Right.
She's her own person.
They look alike, but they're not the same fucking person at all. They're not the same wrestler. I love Becky Lynch and I love me some Jamie Hayter. And yeah, they favor one another and like their build now, and she's got the red hair, but they couldn't be any fucking different.
But yeah, man, I was excited about that. Hopefully, they don't spend too much time her messing around with Saraya. Boy, man, a year ago, Saraya was winning the championship, and now look at her.
All right, look, put Saraya on TV.
What for what purposes?
Aesthetics.
I knew you were going that direction. I just wanted you to say it.
And she brings Harley Cameron with her.
I like Harley Cameron. She's funny. Yeah, they don't need more title belts, but I wouldn't mind seeing tag team them as an actual tag team. But since they don't have it, I mean, I guess it's a good warm up match. What was her and it was the one that had it was Sheeta that her and Saraya had that match. What was the beef between Saraya and Hayter before Hayter got injured?
They injured Hayter.
Oh, they did. That's
that was the storyline. They injured her.
Oh, okay.
So
back when Tony
she came to get her lick back.
Back when Tony was still with Saraya, it was still that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, you got stories to tell. You still got her and Tony, and you didn't tell the stats between her and Dr. Britt Baker. So you got a lot.
They need to tell that story though. And that's the other thing. Like, you got to keep. She comes back, and she can't even get involved in the storyline with Britt because rumor would have it, dirt sheets, that there's beef between Britt and Jamie Hayter now. They don't want to work together anymore.
It's beef between Britt and everybody. She's gonna have to build a bridge and get over it.
We'll talk about her a little later. But yeah, Jamie Hayter returns. Again, what we started to talk about, the Women's World Championship. Mariah May is your new Women's World Champion, defeating Toni Storm with Storm Zero. I was a fan of the match. I wasn't a fan of the result. But it is what it is. What'd you think?
That's probably one of the best matches of the night. And I know you said the result took you out of the show, but shouldn't have let you prevent you from enjoying the rest of the show, because I thought the card overall was really good. But that match was a great way. That kicked it off, huh? I thought
there was a match before that kicked it off. That was just the first big match I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, great storytelling. Great way to get heat by her slapping her mother. And, I can't remember who I chose when we did the predictions, but maybe Mariah. I think I might have picked Toni, but
I think we both picked Toni.
Yeah, but I wasn't surprised that Mariah won. It was just me being hopeful that Toni still retained, because, it could have went either way. So I wasn't surprised by it, but I'm just hoping she could stand on her own 2 feet, because she's kind of tied at the hip with Toni. So let's see if she could swim on her own.
That was why I didn't think she should have been the one to beat Tony Storm, was because without Tony, it's gonna be hard for her to, like, her character now works against Tony Storm, but how's it gonna work against Jamie Hayter or Sheeta? You know what I mean? But we'll see. Tony had a really good run. She made the AEW's women's division better than it's ever been before, as far as the top of it. I don't like the match placement. Well, having this as the second match, I thought this should have went after the TBS championship match, but that's just me. Um, because you're basically telling me that the TBS title is more important than the world title.
Yeah, and that was kind of like my question going into it. Like, how would they order it? Because like if you would take titles out the picture and on paper, it would seem that it would be Brett and Mercedes fighting for the world and Tony and Mariah fighting for TBS, but that's not how the cards align. But yeah, but in hindsight, I don't know like what would have happened if you would have switched those matches, like if they would have been a victim of following Osprey, but who knows? That match was really good though. The fans might have been burnt out if you would have had it after that, but you could have shuffled things around where they came before Osprey, but
Yeah.
you know, it's we could all speculate, but it is what it is.
Speaking of Osprey and MJF, uh, Osprey defeats MJF to become the new All American International Champion. Um, really good match, but although MJF cheated to win the first match, I feel like there was a lot of bells and whistles to get Osprey to win this match. Interference, ref bumps, like it just, again, MJF cheated, but his win felt more clean than this one did. Does that make sense?
I mean, it was a lot of distracting things that I get what you're saying, but you know, I guess that's the drama that they wanted to build up. You had Daniel Garcia had to get his link back, so I'm glad they tied that back together, and I'm guessing they might do that all out. But I get what you're saying, but it didn't really bother me. But what's this hullabaloo about? Was it this match? They said a cameraman was had something happened with a cameraman or something.
He had his fucking underwear and socks shown. My girlfriend made a point about that. She's like, "Who the fuck has matching underwear and socks?" But yeah, there was a cameraman that took a spill, and apparently he knew he was gonna be on TV, so he decided to fucking pull a pops and boomerang. He had to coordinate.
Hey, I mean, I must not have been paying attention. I don't even remember that. I watched the whole match.
He was on there for a minute. Like they had the camera on him for a good minute. Like I thought it was gonna have something to do with the match. They were showing him so much.
Was this the middle of the match or towards the end?
Middle end.
I gotta go back and watch that. I must have been off in La La Land. I wasn't even like twiddling on my phone. I watched the whole match. I don't know what I was paying attention to. But
Really good match though, Osprey and MJF. Again, this just proves, man, every time he's given the chance to prove it, MJF can fucking go in the ring. Like, as much as I hate to admit it because I don't like the guy, I have to admit it. Like, he can fucking wrestle his ass off. And what's crazy is he picks and chooses when he wants to do. He doesn't do it all the time. He just does it like once a month, and he's really fucking good. And there's something to be said about that. That a guy that doesn't wrestle all the time can just fucking flip a switch and be like, all right, let me go fucking toe to toe with Will Ospreay. Let me fucking do an Iron Man match with Daniel Bryan. Let me have a great match with John Moxley. Like, it's something to be said about that. Like the guy or not like the guy, like he can fucking go.
yeah, that's a news break. I didn't know you didn't like MJF.
Not guy.
Nah, I mean, you have to have a conversation. I know Roman's name value wise and popularity, he's past MJF. But as far as like overall wrestler, MJF might be at the top of the list as far as character and in ring. We still don't know what this face Roman really is because he hadn't talked yet. So I gotta still wait and see how that pans out. But as far as like overall, with putting everything together, you gotta put MJF at the top of that list.
I feel like they're different characters and people. They wrestle different styles. Like the closest thing that WWE would have to a Will Ospreay would be AJ Styles. And if you go back to uh, the year AJ debuted in
Yeah.
WWE,
Yeah.
Roman won the world title at WrestleMania that year, and then he and AJ main evented the next two pay-per-views. You go back and watch that match, those two matches, and they're just as good as anything you would see. Roman versus Daniel Bryan, uh, when Bryan wanted to get into the main event of WrestleMania when Roman won. Really good match. Another really good match. Bryan's last match on SmackDown. So they're different styles, but I prefer the Roman version of those matches than MJF. But that's not to take anything away from MJF. Again, MJF can fucking go.
Yeah, I'm curious to see. I guess Meltzer probably jizzed all over himself. He probably gave it over 5 star. I ain't seen it on Twitter or anything, but yeah, Will Ospreay adding to his hits from when he's been signed with AEW.
Following this match was Mercedes and Britt Baker. Um, I have many a time said that Britt Baker's the AEW version of Charlotte to me. She gets a lot of praise for being really good and really popular and the best and the whole nine. And time after time, she gets outshined by other people. And this match was just another example of I just I think the division has passed her by. I think with the signings they've had of multiple people, the Tony Storms, the Mercedes, even the Mariah Mays, the Sheetas, the Jamie Hayters, the Willow Nightingales. They're just all so far and ahead better than Britt Baker in the ring. Britt's thing was her little trying to get to the top of the AEW rankings is what got her over in the DMD chant. But if you strip all that away, which they have lately, and it's just in ring, she's just not on the same level as all the. There's 10 women at least that are far and away better than her in the ring.
I think if the division has passed her by, it's a reason. She's been out for so long, but that's not to say that she doesn't have time to evolve and catch up. And as far as it was a lot of, I mean, there was a lot of hate towards this match, but it was some mixed reactions. I thought it was a solid, good match. Didn't like the ending necessarily. That was anticlimactic ending. But as far as the match, I thought it was solid. It wasn't a bad match. It was good, like I said, but it wasn't great like people were expecting it to be. Man, maybe these two just don't have the chemistry like that. Britt's been out for a while, and I don't know why Mercedes went over her clean. I thought they could have used a dirty finish, but yeah. But where do you go with Britt from here? Like you said,
Back
like
to the
she's got to
dental
catch up.
office.
What?
Back to the dental office.
I mean, she's well, Mercedes said she doesn't have a dental degree to fall back like Britt. This is all she has. So I guess Britt can go back to the dental office. But in all seriousness, uh yeah, maybe you could pivot and tell that Jamie Hater story.
From what they say, she didn't want to work with Jamie Hayter, which sucks for us as fans because we need a fucking resolution.
Well, grow a little pair, Tony, and say y'all are working together. Sorry, I'm the boss.
There's a couple
Y'all are
points in
working.
this match that people said Britt was sandbagging. And I saw a couple times, like, I don't want to say sandbagging. I want to say she wasn't selling as much as she had through the build up and through the match. And it reminded me of when Becky first became the man and she was getting too fucking popular and Charlotte basically stopped selling for her. like through the build up through WrestleMania. Me and Marty talked about this a lot. There were so many points where Charlotte would just no sell the shit Becky was doing and start talking over it, doing promos and just little shit like trying to make sure her shit was still popping and not being very good. And this is what this reminds me of. I don't know. I don't know the woman, but she's kind of starting to get that CM Punk vibe where she's just not getting along with anybody. She didn't get along with Thunder Rosa. She doesn't get along with Mercedes. She doesn't get along with Jamie Hayter, who's in her fucking camp. Like, she got into it with Alicia Toot and MJF. Like, eventually, you got to look in the mirror.
Maybe she has some type of cocky behind the scenes attitude because she does know that she has her dentistry to fall back on. She's like, I can do what I want. I'm Britt Baker. But I mean, that's not a way to, if you ever do want to go to WWE, if you have that reputation, they're gonna not want to sign you. And I don't know. She needs to get her shit together.
You ever had a job, but you already had another job? And when they were like, you need to do this, you're like, the fuck I don't. I ain't got to do shit. What are you going to do, fire?
Yeah.
We've all had, most people have had that situation where you've got another job lined up already and just kind of going through the motions. So I guess like human nature is you can't really blame her, but it's a wrestling podcast. We'll blame her anyway.
Yeah. And no, it didn't help that they went on right after Will Ospreay and MJF. Crowd was drained. Like I said, I thought it was a solid match, but the crowd wasn't into it at all.
The match was better than what people are giving it credit for, but it still wasn't. It was a letdown from what you thought it was going to be. And then the crowd not being into it made it even worse. Crowds go a long way when it comes to wrestling matches.
I mean, I don't have the pencil. And I think you could have had Darby Allin, especially how the way it ended in the aftermath. You could have had that be kind of like the cool down before the main event, and you just had one match in between the MJF. And you could have stuck Mercedes and Britt at the beginning. I think the fans would have still enjoyed it, that trios match being second, and then Tony Storm third. I think that would have been a nice little. Fans would have been into, I think, the Britt and Mercedes if they would have kicked the card off.
The Young Bucks retain their tag team titles. I don't have much to say about this one unless you want to talk about it.
It wasn't a bad. This wasn't a bad. Only one match that I didn't care for, and that was the Jericho one. But this wasn't a bad match. But I didn't really wasn't invested in it just because I'm not a Bucks fan. So yeah, it's whatever.
Jack Perry retains his TNT championship over Darby Allin in the coffin match. I thought this match ended a lot quicker than I thought it would. And then at the end, they decide we're going to set this motherfucker on fire.
The Young Bucks pyromaniacs.
Yeah. And then, if you go back through the boot to the face tweets, before it happened, I started tweeting out, "We want Sting." And I was just being facetious. I didn't think he would actually fucking show up. And the lights went out, and here comes the Stinger to a huge pop. There's been a lot of scuttlebutt online of, is it too soon for Sting to come back? And I'll get your opinion on this because I have mine. Was it too soon to see Sting after he retired in March?
I don't think so necessarily, because him and Darby always have that connection. He's almost like his guardian angel, and he can pop up. You never know. He can pop up, like you said, right? 6 months from his retirement. He can pop up 2 years down the line. You never know. And I enjoyed it. I thought it was a nice touch. I didn't think it was too soon. It was now he's wrestling.
Right. I thought the same. This was a special moment. There's 50,000 people there. It's their WrestleMania. Like, if you're going to bring him back for an appearance, this is when you do it. Also, who the fuck expected Sting to show up in London?
Nobody.
Which is why the pop was so big. Which is why the people there were like, "Oh shit, we get to see Sting too." Like, you give him something special. He didn't come back and wrestle a match. He literally came back, hit the motherfuckers with baseball bats, did a death drop, and left. I have no issue with it.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like the fact that it was so soon after his retirement is why it was unexpected.
Exactly. Nobody put that on their 2024 bingo card. A Sting appearance after his retirement. So I thought it was a nice touch. Like you said, it was a huge pop. So I'm for it.
Anything you want to get to before we talk the main event?
Yeah, Casino Battle Royal. I thought it was
Uh,
really a lot of fun.
it was a lot of fun. I know we're trying to speed through the all-in card, which kind of sucks because we got so much to talk about. We don't want to make this a fucking 3-hour show, but I enjoyed the Casino Battle Royal as well. Ricochet looked like $1 million coming out. He got to keep his name, which I didn't. I thought he'd go back to Prince Puma, but he's still Ricochet, so that was good.
Oh,
Christian Cage wins.
Didn't WWE say though that they weren't trademarking people's names anymore?
I do not know that.
Yeah, I think that was like a couple months ago that they said people would be able to keep their names, and so shout out to Ricochet for doing that. Like you said, Christian Cage won. I wasn't really expecting that, but I'm not mad at it.
I'll tell you why in the like now I don't care for it, but in the moment I'll tell you why that was a good choice. Because if Hangman would have won, everybody would have been like Swerve's winning 100%. And if Nigel would have won, who came back, everybody would have been like Brian's winning 100%. So you let somebody win who has no tie to either of them, really, or has a tie to both of them, which is Christian Cage, and he's a piece of shit. He's the perfect person to win this. Um, so Christian wins. He basically has a Money in the Bank briefcase, from what I understand.
You think they run that at all out, or they save it for a random Dynamite?
Isn't there already a title match at All Out?
I don't think so.
Oh
It's a
no,
international
Darby's got the title match at
the
the stadium show.
Grand Slam.
Yeah.
Yeah. So All Out's kind of a fast turnaround. I'm glad next year is going to be spread out, even though they are running Forbidden Door and basically in the place of All In, but that's a story for another day. But yeah, that's a quick turnaround for All Out, him and Brian. But I guess maybe get out the way, huh?
I mean, he can cash it in whenever he wants, though. He doesn't have to do an official match. He can come out there and whoop his ass and cash in. I thought that's the way they explained it. It was like Money in the Bank.
Well, they had this is like the third one they've had this year, I want to say, and I think Christian won another one of those, and I think all of them called their shot. Maybe I know Osprey. No, I think no. Osprey won both of them. He got an international title shot for one of them, and then got a world title shot, and he called his shot for both of them. So I don't know how it fucking works. They just make whatever they want to do.
Yeah, they just do whatever they want, Excuse me. You got the world title match, the main event, and Brian Danielson, I'm sorry, wins the World Heavyweight Championship in the face of retirement, in front of his kids, in front of his wife, in front of 50 some odd thousand people chanting for him, and didn't like the result, but this was such a good fucking match.
Yeah, I know you picked Swerve. I picked Danielson just because I know he's got a little bit more left in the tank. I just didn't see him going out like that. Like you said, it was a great moment. I mean, people are trying to compare it to WrestleMania 30, but just let those be its own thing. You don't have to compare the two. Different vibes. Like he's a family man now. Had his kids in the front row. I like how they told a story throughout the match. He had Swerve antagonizing his kids, which was a good touch. They played off the emotion, had some false finishes where you're like, oh shit, Danielson's about to retire. He did a couple swerve stomps, and I just thought it was a great match. And you hate to see Swerve's reign get cut short, but if you think about it, he had a solid reign. It was better than Samoa Joe's, better than CM Punk's. Even though Hangman was longer, you could say that Swerve had a more meaningful run. And then I don't think this will be it for him. I think he's going to get the belt back somewhere in the near future, within the next year, maybe. So
I honestly think I feel like he's still going to be the one to retire Danielson.
Yeah, they got a Washington show right around the corner. Could happen there. So, and at the end of the day, it's a business. So Swerve was main eventing 50,000 people, the first black champion in company history. And how long did it take? I hate comparing the two companies because they're only companies, but people complain how long it took WWE to have black people in prominent spots, and EW's 5 years in. So for people complaining about it being a short run, I think Swerve did what he needed to do in his first reign.
And the best thing is it's not just we have a black world champion for the sake of having a black world champion. Like, he deserved to be the fucking world champion. He was the best.
Yeah, it made sense.
He beat Will Ospreay in Will Ospreay's first main event. Put on a fucking clinic with Bryan Danielson. When Danielson kneed him in the face and he fucking no-sold it and brushed that shit off, and I was like, this motherfucker's about to win. When he just kept kicking him in the face, I was like, he is so about to win. And then when Bryan's kicked out, I was like, fuck, he's about to lose. But just a really good piece of business that them two did. And yes, Swerve lost. I hate to see him lose the title, but he's the guy now in the AEW. You can have your MJFs, you can have your Ospreys, you can have your Danielsons, your Moxleys, and all them. This is Swerve's company, right? This is Swerve's house. No pun intended.
Or pun intended. And I know why they had to lean him more heel to, draw that emotion from the crowd and the viewers. And I hate flip-flopping back and forth, but I mean, Bryan Danielson is not going to be there forever. I feel like Swerve is the guy that people are going to want to cheer for, especially if you pivot back towards him and Hangman. So, I'm sure maybe he'll lean more so back in the middle now, because like you said, he's that guy as far as like age and being the right now. And you got to run with that.
Right. Well, EJ, what would you give All In? Excuse me. As a overall grade?
I'm flip I don't want to be a prisoner in the moment, but so I'm flip flopping back and forth between B plus and A minus. Like you said, I enjoyed the show. Like, I'd go back and rewatch it, and the only thing I skipped through is the Jericho, and even that had like a fun ending when he had Taz involved. But yeah, I gave it a solid B plus, maybe even an A minus.
I graded it as soon as I was done watching it, and I think the emotion of people that I wanted to win not winning and me being frustrated with that made me give a lower grade than what it was. But this show came off bigger than last year's show, even though there was 30,000 more people there. I'll give it a B plus. I enjoyed it. Good storytelling. More stories come out of it than going into it, which is what you want. And I think AEW's got real positive momentum going right now. The ratings may not tell you that, the attendance may not, but as far as like a wrestling show goes, like I think they're doing really well the last few months. And this was a really good pay-per-view, a really good production. It looked big time. There was no audio bullshit that I always complain about during Dynamite. I think it was a good show top to bottom. Didn't last fucking 7 hours. And just a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, behind like WrestleMania 40, this is probably one of my favorite shows of the year. Now let's see if they can build off of that, because I hate to be the guy that's just always looking in the future, but they announce a match or two for Dynamite. I'm like, what's going on? It's like an 8-man tag with a conglomeration, but I just hope they can build off the stories from what we just saw.
Well, you got Ricochet and Kyle Fletcher.
That's a good way to introduce Ricochet. We know Kyle Fletcher ain't winning, but
that's basically how they introduced Ospreay when he finally signed. He wrestled Kyle Fletcher right after wrestling Takeshita.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a good way to Kyle Fletcher to get his wings underneath himself, test himself against a guy like Ricochet. But I just hope they have, Danielson kick off the show and Mariah May on there and Mercedes. I just hope you have all the main stories going into it, following up on that Dynamite. So we'll see tomorrow or tonight if you're watching this on YouTube.
Let's get to Street Clothes Wrestler of the Week.
Who you got?
I will pick your TBS Women's Champion, Mercedes Moné from Dynamite this week. She had the gloves on, the heels, the sparkles. Britt popped her in the head with the microphone, but whatever. Actually, she popped Camille in the head with the microphone. But yeah, Mercedes Moné or Money. What is her last name? Is it Money?
She pronounced it like the currency, like money, but it looks like Monet to me. But she pronounced it Monet, like money.
Am I crazy in saying that her New Japan music is way better than the music she's got now, where she had the little crisscross type? That music was way better.
I mean, it had a nice little bop, but I get why they did it. It's something the fans can chant behind. But now that she's a heel, like you said, that crisscross when she had is more of a bop. Now that she's a heel, but I see why they did it. But
she was rapping in that one, wasn't she?
Some woman was, I think. She's like money.
It was her.
Yeah. Maybe they'll bring it back. But your Street Clothes Wrestler of the Week, Mercedes. What did you say she had on again?
She had on like a sparkly one piece with some gloves that were connected to it and some heels, and she's like a fucking. You can say what you want about her, AEW fans. Y'all don't like her. Y'all think she's cringe or whatever. But there ain't nobody on that show in that company that looks and comes off more like a fucking star than Mercedes does. Nobody. Not MJF. Facts. Not fucking Ospreay. Swerve is close. Who had on some really dope tights for his match. You see his tights?
Yeah, man. Yeah, somebody was saying what it was inspired off of. Maybe some prior things that Prince Nana did in ROH. I can't remember, but it was dope.
I don't know what it was inspired off of, but I know it was a Daniel Bryan head with a sword going through it and the AEW title and a crown on each side of the sword.
Yeah, I dug it. But like you said,
Rick Rude type shit right there. Rick Rude put your fucking wife on his dick.
The disrespect out of Rick Rude. Right. All you sweat dogs out there.
Who's your Street Clothes of the Week, EJ?
I have Mrs. Cardona. Chelsea Green is my Street Clothes Wrestler of the Week. Stirring shit backstage out on SmackDown. Huh?
You love you some Chelsea Green, don't you?
I'm a fan. Wait. Matt Cardona. Go ahead.
I just want to say it's very difficult for me not to put Liv Morgan as a Street Clothes Wrestler of the Week every week when she's not wrestling.
I was thinking about what she wore, but I couldn't remember. I thought she was wrestling, so I didn't even know she
had some stilettos on, little shorts, little halter top, little jacket.
Hey, might as well rename this segment the Liv Morgan Street Clothes Wrestler of the Week. Because that could be your choice every week.
And then that way she can get her shine, but I don't have to pick her every week. I'm not mad at that idea.
Yeah, but like I said, mine is Chelsea Green. She was stirring shit backstage with Nia Jax. She's like, I'm not talking shit. I wouldn't do that. But then proceeds to talk shit. But She had the turquoise sleeveless top on and the turquoise. I think it's turquoise. Like I don't know if my phone's broken, but she had the bottoms on. It looked almost like leatherish. But she was wearing it was a skirt. And she was rocking her outfit. So shout out to Chelsea Green. That shit stir her.
She is so funny. Like, look,
Mhm.
I wouldn't say this, but if I was to say it, I would say it like this. You better watch out for that bitch Tiffany Stratton.
We all have those type of people that we know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, very entertaining. So that is my street clothes wrestler of the week.
Power rankings, EJ. Let's try to get through these pretty quick because we got 2 pay-per-views we also need to predict, and we got listener mail.
Yeah, you were right. This is a jam-packed show this week. I guess since you started the street clothes wrestler, I could start off the power rankings. And preface, this is AEW heavy since they had the biggest show of the weekend. My number 5 are your new AEW Trios champions. A match we didn't talk about. BCC and Pac. You had Wheeler Yuta and Claudio Castagnoli and Pac winning those belts. And we didn't predict them to win it because I didn't even, at the time when we were predicting it, I don't think they were announced for the match.
They weren't even in the match. Yeah.
So I didn't expect them to win, which is a kind of a odd pick for your winners, that bookend. So maybe Mox gets mad because I don't understand that pairing, but I guess we'll see how it plays out. But that's my number 5.
Yeah, I think Brian's next opponent might be Moxley.
Oh.
Everybody in the BCC has a title, and a motherfucker not in the BCC has a title with them, and he might feel a little left out.
I wouldn't be mad at that. Have some internal conflict with the BCC. Let's do that.
We were there, EJ, when the BCC was formed.
Yeah.
Versus Brian, and William Regal walks out, and the rest is history. So it would only make sense that maybe Moxley's the guy to put Brian down. I hope it's Swerve, but I do see Moxley and Brian having a match before Brian's done, though.
I can see that too. Like you said, hopefully it's Swerve, but guess we'll have to see how it plays out.
My number 5, Jack Perry, wins the coffin match. Defeats Darby Allin. Really good match. It was a catalyst of my boy Sting coming back. Jack Perry's used real glass. Cry me a river, he said. He's still getting that CM Punk rub.
And I get it. I mean, they're trying to wink, nod, be cute, but why keep bringing it up? Because you had some CM Punk chants sprinkled in. It always got drowned out. They didn't let him pick up steam, but why even bring that back up? I mean, I don't know. For some reason, Jack Perry rubs me the wrong way. I mean, any heat is good heat, but it's like, is he doing good character work or is he just an annoying little prick? I don't know.
How you still talking shit when you got your ass whooped in real life?
Yeah, that too. I don't get it, man.
No kayfabe. Punk beat your motherfucking ass. You may cry you a river. You the one crying. Anyway. Number 4, still your TBS Women's Champion, Mercedes Money.
I like how we don't have a lot of the same people so far. Yeah.
She needs a different move.
Yeah, this move's a little awkward.
I said it at the very beginning, man. Unless it's hit perfectly, it doesn't look good. And it looks, the last 4 times she's done it, it looks like 4 different moves. You don't know if it's a DDT, a flatliner, a bulldog, like a cutter. Like, it's different every time. Yeah, I don't know. Also the thing about this match, she worked on Britt's back the entire match, and the finish had nothing to do with the back. I'm wondering if at the last minute Britt said, "I'm not tapping out" to the bank statement.
Maybe.
Because the psychology of the match will lead you to believe that she'd tap out because her back would give out because the bank statement is a back move, and
Mm-hmm.
then she ends up the move has nothing to do, but she literally fucked her back up the whole match, and then the ending of the match, she didn't even touch her back for like last 3 minutes.
And like I said earlier, it was a little anticlimactic. Maybe, like you said, maybe they did it on the fly and switched up the finish, which is not good. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like, I don't know why she had to add that move to her arsenal. Like you said, she has the bank statement and she got that Meteora. Like, those are good finishing moves. Why do you have to add that money maker? I think that's what they call it. But
I actually think the backstabber is a good fucking finishing move. And she kind of uses it as a setup, but I think that's a dope move to fucking beat somebody on.
yeah, shout out to Carlito. But I don't know.
Last time I shot that motherfucker out on here.
You're not a Carlito fan, huh?
Oh, no, that's not cool.
I mean, he's the lackey of the Judgment Day, so he's making money, so can't knock that. My number 4 is your number 1 contender for the AEW World Championship, Mr. Christian Cage. Lost his trio belts with the Patriarchy and doubled back around and won the Casino Battle Royal. And we already discussed that, so no need to harp on that even more. My number 3 is your new AEW now International Championship. He rebranded it back to the International Championship from the American Championship. Maybe the match of the night. I don't know. No, I still got Bryan Danielson and Swerve just because how it ended, but it's up there. Will Ospreay is my number 3.
My number 3, the Glamour, your new women's world champion, Mariah May. Number 2, your new All American International champion. He should take both belts.
He said he didn't want that American one. He retired it.
I feel like the American title looked like, I know they're supposed to have the same design, but something about the American title just looks better than the international title. Am I crazy? Like even the color gold on them looks different. Like the international title just looks big and gaudy, and the American one looks better.
I mean, I think the colors in the American one made it pop. So I think that's why it might look a little bit better. I mean, you should probably add that one to your collection. It's probably never be brought on TV again. So
Man, you know them AEW titles are like $700 each.
Really? They're that expensive.
Yeah, they're fucking. They're way. WWE for $700, you can get the fucking. WWE has tiers to their titles. They got like the replica, the like ultimate, and the ultimate. There's like 1,500. So they have tiers to theirs where the detail gets better. AEW's like, nah, motherfucker, give me $700. You want the only one we got? Give me 700.
Well, hey, I guess they got to make their money somehow. But so that was your number 2.
Mm-hmm.
My number 2 is your new AEW Women's Champion, the Glamour, Mariah May. You already said it, so no need to add on to that. My number 1, the new AEW World Champion, the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, getting his moment over there in Wembley.
I agree. That's also my number 1, and it sucks not being able to put Swerve on here. But with all the winners of All In, you couldn't put somebody that lost a championship in there. But yeah, Bryan Danielson, your new world heavyweight champion, unanimously number 1 in the Boots of the Face power rankings.
Yeah, Swerve is an honorable mention, so shout out to Swerve too.
EJ, you ready to get to some listener mail?
Let's get it.
First question we got coming in from Nico Dad 26. What, in your opinion, has caused AEW to have such low attendance?
Well, we hop on this not every week, but every now and then. It's a combination of a lot of things. I don't think it's just their on-screen product. They hit the same markets a lot of the time. It's still a new company. So with the WWE, say you dipped away for 10 years, this life happens, and say your kid is now 7 or 8. They've been around for 60 years. You're like, I hadn't watched this in some years. My kid wants to go here now. Now let's take him to the WWE show. AEW doesn't have that built-in fan base from decades ago. That contributes it too. So that them hitting the same markets a lot of the time. And you got a lot of people that wanted to go to the shiny new thing, and that kind of wears off. So you got that, and them adding an extra show a week. So I think those are the 4 main reasons that the attendance dipped off a little bit. But things has ebbs and flows. So maybe you start to see that tick up a little bit in the next few months. Hopefully they could, get it back.
I think it was a mixture of the shiny new toy wearing off, the honeymoon period wearing off, and just not good booking. Uh, how many wrestlers have we named over the years where it's like, where's Scorpio Sky? Where's Miro? Where's Thunder Rosa? Where's this person? Where's that person? Like people will show up on TV and then they'll disappear for months, weeks at a time with no explanation for whatever reason. We don't know the reason. I think the booking just hasn't been good. There's been no payoffs to certain stuff. You got people leaving the company. Cody's the biggest star they had. He's gone. He's main event WrestleMania. Punk comes back. He has all this drama, and he leaves. And I think a lack of consistency in the booking is where it is. Now, they've been doing well the past like 3-4 months. If they can get to 12 to 15 months of it, I think you will see the attendance and the buy rates and stuff start to go back up. I think again, I mentioned it earlier. I think they're in a really positive position right now where they've got really good momentum, but they've had such negative momentum for so long now that people have just given up. And also, I agree with what you're saying too. Like WWE's kind of grandfathered into, when people talk wrestling and pop culture and movies and shit, they don't say AEW. They say we want to go to WrestleMania. Like WrestleMania was in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Part 2, The Secret of the Ooze, when fucking Toka and Razor showed up. Michelangelo says, didn't we see these guys on WrestleMania? That's how long ago WrestleMania's been around. That was what, 93?
Yeah. And the kind of rebuttal your point, I think booking has somewhat to do. I mean, it doesn't help if you have disoriented booking, but I think it's star power because Punk left. That hurt a lot. And because if you look at it, all those years that WWE had this terrible, people were still showing up. So I don't think it's all, like I said, it plays a factor somewhat, but you gotta have star power too. And they let Punk leave. I think the Bucks, them not handling that situation, I think that did a real number on it. They could have made money off of their Punk situation, but they were crybabies and let the guy walk. So star power, because can't tell me if Roman didn't show up to AEW, people would be showing up regardless if they had weird booking. I think star power has to play into it as well.
Well, it depends. Is Roman going to show up the whole month of August and then you don't see him again until June? Because that's how some of the people in AEW are booked. Like
not their stars. You got like people like on the like a Miro or a Keith Lee, but they feature their stars. Like you see MJF, you see the Bucks and Mox.
You don't see MJF. MJF cut that fucking promo and then he was off TV for like 7 months.
He was hurt. What do you mean?
This is before he got hurt. He got hurt recently. This is before he got hurt. When he when he lost to Wardlow, he got squashed by Wardlow, and then he cut that promo, and then he was off TV.
I think that was more so for storyline because they tried to do. I think that was when they did the devil thing, but for the most part, they feature their people high up on the card. It's just
can I say this? If the hottest person in your company loses and gets squashed and comes out and cuts a crazy promo that gets everybody talking, and the storyline is him to be off of TV for 6 months, that's a dumb fucking storyline. And you deserve to have shitty attendance because you're fucking stupid.
That might be an outlier, but for the most part, like Punk, they used him so much, he got hurt. You know how brittle he is. I think if they're at the top of the card, they pretty much use it. It's the people that are on the precipice of being a star, like you see them disappear, which is not good as well. I'm not giving them an excuse, but I think it's like I said, it's like probably like a combination of a lot of things. I don't think you could just point to one thing. All those things that we named, though, none of them help. So. But like you said, they've been doing a better job the past few months, so hopefully you'll see them on the rise as far as like attendance goes.
Next question from Kayfabe Chronicles. Do you think the tag titles will ever be featured on a PLE main card, or will they forever be pre-show / Raw and SmackDown show before the event?
I mean, Triple H has been at the helm for 2 years now. You already got a sample size. He doesn't really put emphasis on tag team wrestling, so yeah, I don't see that happening unless like for some reason they throw Roman in there. If you see a big star like that, like what back in the day you had like the 2-man power trip with Stone Cold and Triple H, and you saw that at the top of the card. Like, no, I don't see that really happening unless a main eventer like gets the belts by chance. Like, yeah, I mean, overall, not to go off topic, but tag team wrestling has not been featured across the board in all the companies. I mean, I don't want to talk about the Young Bucks a lot, but I mean, they had only defended the belt once since they got it from Sting and Darby. And you split the tag team belts up in WWE with DIY had it, now the Bloodline has it. So maybe since they have it, you might see it in a more prominent role. But then you got the Judgment Day just basically having it as props in their storyline with Rhea and them. So to make a long answer short, nah, I don't see it happening right now.
I think there's ebbs and flows. You know, you had Edge and Christian, the Dudleys, the Hardys, and then it kind of ducked off for a little bit. And you got like the New Age Outlaws that came around. Then it ducked off for a little bit again. And then you got the New Day, the Usos. Then ducked off for a little bit again. And you got the Usos again, the New Day, and Sammy and KO. And now it's kind of on the downtrend. I think it's an ebb and flow thing. I think a year or two, tag team wrestling will be featured again when they run out of stuff for the women and run out of stuff for the men. They'll fall back to it's an ebb and flow thing.
Well, like I said, right now I don't see it being put, on the front line as far as important things that's going on in the company. Just because they got so many other things going on, you still got the Bloodline story that's on fire. But which is ironic because members of the Bloodline have the belts, but like you said, they don't. It's almost like a prop at this point. They're not really featuring the tag team division like you said when the Usos had it. It was really prestigious, and that was what only a year and some change ago where they dropped it to KO and Sammy. And
Yeah, it's two WrestleManias in a row. Sammy's made a prestigious title become nothing but whatever. DSG underscore Scully says, "Who will dethrone every current champion?" We'll shorten this up and just say world champion in WWE. So Gunther and Cody.
Cody, I said The Rock takes it off Cody. Gunther, damn, he just got it, so that's hard to tell. I think. I know you might like this answer, but they could circle around and have maybe Sammy do it. I don't know when, maybe not anytime soon, but just tie the story back around again.
I agree with Cody. I think The Rock's going to take it from him. And Gunther, CM Punk.
I can see it. I can see it happening. Man, it's so hard to tell since it's so early in and the reign. But what about both the women's title?
Nia Jax, I say Tiffany, and Liv Morgan, obviously it's Rhea.
Well, I got both of those same answers as well. I mean, we did that pretty quickly. We could do IC and US real quick, I
Now we
think.
got other questions we got to get to.
Well, there you have it.
This is from Brian, 80s Wrestling on Twitter. Who are each of your top three favorites for men's and women's single all time and tag team all time?
So, who are our favorites from men's single and tag team?
Your men's, who's your favorite men's wrestler, women's
Mhm.
wrestler, and tag team of all time?
Man, I'll let you go because we know your favorite men's wrestler.
Yeah, it's easy for me. My favorite men's wrestler is Sting. My favorite women's wrestler is Mickey James. And my favorite tag team all time is Harlem Heat. Really fucking close with the Usos, though. Like, super close with the Usos. And Becky Lynch was like chomping at Mickey's ass, which would be cool to see, but whatever. Um, but yeah, Sting far and away. Like, the closest to Sting is The Rock, and he ain't close to Sting.
Man, that's hard because I really like I've said this on the past show. Really didn't have a favorite like one wrestler because Sting is high up there on my list, Stone Cold or Rock, but I can't name just one. I was a more of a faction person. My favorite faction of all time is DX. Women's wrestler? Hmm. I never really thought about it. Probably like China, she was up there as far as I'm a nostalgic person, so I go back to when my early wrestling days. And tag teams, since DX was my favorite faction, probably like the New Age Outlaws. But that
Oh,
might,
you didn't know?
yeah, but that might change tomorrow. Like I said, like I'm wrestling,
No,
like my wrestling flavors were all over the place. But yeah, I'd have to go with what I just said.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all
That
ages.
really popped me
That
as
was
a
my
kid.
shit back in the day.
So yeah.
That's a good question, Brian. Last question of the day from Peteopolis. Any thoughts on Sid Vicious with him passing away in the last couple days? Any memories, any thoughts, anything? I know you're a quote unquote younger fan than I am, so I'm interested to see what your thoughts are on Sid, but I got a few.
Yeah. First and foremost, rest in peace to Sid. Like you said, or like not. I mean, it's just a phrase, not like what you said, but it's the phrase is they come in threes, right? We just did Kevin Sullivan and Alpha, and this week Sid. So rest in peace to Sid. My wrestling memories are all jumbled up. So I don't want to get memories mixed up. Sometimes you go back and watch stuff that you didn't see in a moment. But I want to say my first Sid memory, he might have been in ECW actually. This might have been because back when he was in WWF, when he did that run with Undertaker, I was like getting into WCW. Like I didn't even watch WWF, so I didn't even watch that WWF run that he did. But was he in ECW before he came back to WCW? If I'm not mistaken.
I don't know. I
So,
don't ever remember him. I don't ever remember him being in ECW, but I didn't watch a lot of ECW.
so don't kill me if that didn't happen. But I want to say my first memory is of ECW, but my real memory is when he did that second WCW run when he's getting his car crushed by Goldberg, and and of course everybody remembers that nasty leg break. But I just remember him being like almost the answer to Kevin Nash because I was a big Kevin Nash fan, but you had Sid Vicious come in there. He was a big guy that could go toe to toe with Kevin Nash. Won a few world championships during that run. Very intense. Was very credible. Like this is a big motherfucker. I could believe him being a world champion. So that's my memories of Sid.
You know, when Randy Orton was younger, JBL used to always say, if you could build a pro wrestler in a lab, they would look like Randy Orton. And in the 90s, that was Sid Vicious. 6'10", 310, all muscle, could just go. And my first memories of him are when he was in the Four Horsemen, because, you know, anybody that fought against Sting, like, I knew who it was. And then he and Vader formed a tag team called the Masters of the Power Bomb, where they fought against Sting and the British Bulldog, which was a good feud. Then he went to WWE, main event at WrestleMania. Did you know Sid is only one of 5 wrestlers to main event WCW Starrcade and WrestleMania?
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, didn't he main event WrestleMania twice with
Yeah,
Hogan and then Undertaker?
yeah. Also, Sid, one of the first guys to expose Hogan as being a sore losing piece of shit at Royal Rumble '92. He threw Hogan out fair and square, and Hogan threw a fucking hissy fit and cheated to help Ric Flair win. Why, you ask? Because Hogan's a bitch.
Couldn't have said
But
it
back
better
to
myself.
Sid. Um, I always liked Sid. I loved his master and ruler of the world. I loved that he used to fist bump the crowd even though he was a heel. His power bomb is probably my favorite power bomb in wrestling. Um, just a big country motherfucker from Memphis, Tennessee, or Arkansas, wherever the hell he was from. Uh, just I don't know, man. I always liked Sid, and when he came to WWF at the time and beat Shawn Michaels for the title, I loved it. He fought Undertaker. I loved it. Um, I was always a fan of Sid, man. I really was. Even when he would go against Sting in the '90s, when Sting was the Crow Sting and Sid and Macho Man were doing their thing, like I always still liked Sid. He had that feud with Goldberg. Um, I don't know, man. I was always a Sid guy. I don't think I've talked about it much on here, but I always liked Sid.
And I know there's politics behind it, and I know it's timing issues, but WWE, they got to do better with getting these guys in the Hall of Fame and giving them their flowers while they're still here. Because why isn't Sid in the Hall of Fame? Well, so why isn't Luger in the Hall of Fame? That's another one. Like, both of these guys need to go this time around because, Luger isn't in the best health. Why is he in the Hall of Fame? And you got people that are a lot younger with less credentials in there. I don't want to go naming people. I don't want to put them on blast because, they're in there. But yeah, start giving these people their flowers while they're still around. Yeah, Vader, he passed before he got in. So
Yeah.
put them in there, man.
Yeah, I mean, when you got these wrestlers that were around in the '90s and they start getting up into their '60s, if they got the credentials, which who even knows what the fucking credentials are? But if there's a criteria for being a Hall of Famer, Sid fucking fits it. I just told you, he's one of 5 guys in main event WrestleMania and Starrcade, multiple time champion in WCW and WWE. How has he not got the credit? So Vince didn't like him. Get the fuck over it, Vince. Like, these people broke their fucking body parts, literally, for your company. Yeah, you might not like them, but just what's a little fucking recognition?
Yeah, like it was a travesty. Macho Man wasn't in there before he passed. Did he eventually get in? I want to say he had to have.
I mean, if the rumors are true about Macho Man and why he wasn't in, I can understand that.
Well, uh, are they appropriate for saying on air? Because I don't know about that. I know him and
No,
Vince didn't like
no.
each other.
I'm
Oh,
I'm not gonna say what they are on the
I
air,
know,
but I can
I
text you
know,
later.
I know what it is. It has to. Now that you said that, it had to do with a certain Levesque. That's all
Mm.
I'm gonna say.
And if that's true, then I
Ah,
can understand why.
those are rumors, but it's a million other, not a million, but a lot of other people we can name too that should be in there right now, and they're up there in age or got in after they passed. Like, yeah, quit being petty. Let these people in.
Yeah. Let's get to some predictions, EJ.
Yeah, it's getting late early, so I guess we need to
It
run
is.
through
Let's
these.
try to run through these. We got NXT and we got Bash at Berlin.
Well, at least both of these are short cards. Like they don't have that many matches announced so far, unless they're gonna announce some on NXT this week and SmackDown. But they're short cards. Do you have them in front of them, or should I pull up what I have?
You go ahead and pull them up. My mouse is giving me issues.
So Bash in Berlin, that's coming first. That's this August 31st. So Saturday, is this gonna be a day card too? I don't know if you heard any word about that.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah, it's got to since it's over there. So they've only announced 5 matches. So when they go overseas, they like to keep them short and concise. So let's run through what they have so far. They have the Unholy Union. I didn't know they had a tag team name. Alba Fire and your girl Isla Dawn versus Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship.
Sorry, I just started thinking about Isla Dawn. Are you asking me to pick the match?
Yeah.
You threw me off. You said Isla Dawn. I'm gonna go with Bianca and Jade. Like, I know everybody's predicting them to break up and them to have a feud, but like, there's been no dissension or anything like that. Like, they get along. I just don't see why Jade's not ready yet to have a match against Bianca. So keep them together. Let Bianca keep mentoring or whatever she is doing with Jade, and let them be the best looking tag team in the history of pro wrestling.
I agree with you. I think they're gonna be a 2-time women's tag team champion, Bianca
You better not pin Isla Dawn
and
though.
Jade.
We got beef then.
Well, she's gonna be looking at the light.
Nah, it better be fucking Alba Fire. Nobody care about her.
It's a longer run than I thought it would be. I thought they just did it to get the pop and they might drop them the next week, but they had a few months. So nice little trial run with the belts. So next match we have the Terror Twins. That's what people calling them, and that's what is listed on here. I don't know if that's official name. Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley versus the Judgment Day's Dirty Dominic Mysterio and your women's world champion Liv Morgan.
I refuse to pick against Liv Morgan.
I'm gonna go Judgment Day as well, Dirty Dom and Liv, because I think there's more juice to squeeze, and I think they need more obstacles to climb. So it's gonna be by nefarious means. Maybe you might see Finn pop out or Carlito or JD. So I got the Judgment Day as well. Next match, a grudge match. Rucker's favorite wrestler, Mr. Chick Magnet, CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre in a strap match.
I really hope they don't do 50-50 booking and Drew gets the win here. And I'm going to pick Drew McIntyre. Let's just be honest. I'm never going to pick CM Punk to win a match.
I have to go back and check the records. I think you have before, once.
From going forward from here on out, I will never pick. He could be wrestling Tozawa, and I'm not picking CM Punk. He could be wrestling the Brooklyn Brawler. I don't even think he's alive anymore. Rest in peace if he's not. Now, I'm not picking CM Punk. He could be wrestling the Shockmaster right after he busts through the wall, EJ. He's still trying to put his helmet on and gets hit with the go to sleep. I'm not picking CM Punk.
All right, so I'm gonna poke back a little bit because from what you said it's all about updating your resume. You weren't a fan of Chelsea Green before. Now you kind of dig what she's doing. CM Punk,
right there. I'm
CM
sorry.
Punk? No.
This
CM Punk.
this is the long game with me and CM Punk. I ain't like this motherfucker since 2005.
Okay. I mean, I don't know where your Gret was back then, but he has been a prickly person throughout his career, been a crybaby on screen and off the screen. But it's been a year now. For the most part, they say he's been helpful backstage and not problematic. So, not like
Which is why he sucks.
What's your hang up with him now?
Because that was his edge. His edge was to bitch about work and to bring backstage stuff on the TV. If you notice lately, he's been fucking boring on TV because he's got nothing to bitch about. He's actually happy about being at work. His edge is gone. That was his thing. He was a fucking crybaby. He was a whiner. He was a malcontent. He was a punk ass bitch. And now he's just, I'm so happy to be here. Look at me in my 3-piece suit. I'm like Cody with shitty tattoos besides that neck tattoo.
So
And it's just not fun.
now that he's not toxic, now you have another edge to hate him. Okay, I see it.
Yeah, I just don't like him. He can be toxic, he can be non-toxic, he could go fucking rescue 3 dogs out of the street before they get hit by a car, and I'll still have an issue with the way he did it.
Fair enough. You stand on business. But I say 50-50 booking. I'm picking CM Punk, and then we'll have the deciding grudge match at Bad Blood in your neck of the woods, which you won't be attending.
Yeah, god damn it, I forgot about it. They'll be in a Hell in a Cell for the rubber match.
So, yep. So I got CM Punk.
Now let's
get it. What's that?
Let's Taylor Swift pays Taylor Swift for the fucking theme for that.
That'd be hilarious. They got the money to do it. Let's hear it. But let's get into these world title matches. I'm gonna say that this one comes on before the one I talk about last. So I'm gonna go with Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens for undisputed WWE Championship.
Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, this just seems like a match to get you to the next thing that's going on with Cody. I'm gonna go with Cody Rhodes as well. Hopefully they don't do the obvious and turn Kevin Owens heel, which they probably will. But I got Cody. Well, let's talk about the main event. The Ring General. He's not from Germany, but he's from Austria, which is close. Versus Randall Keith Orton for your World Championship. So I didn't know this stipulation was on it. If Orton wins, he'll be transferred to Raw, and Gunther will be transferred to SmackDown, which is a weird step, but I got Gunther.
Yeah, same. We ain't gonna have to worry about it. Gunther's gonna win.
Well, that's it for Bachelor of Berlin. So I guess we could jump over to NXT No Mercy, which is happening where the Nuggets play. This is a big show for them in the Ball Arena in Denver, Colorado. NXT No Mercy. Let's start off with I guess this is a grudge match between a guy that's not even employed with NXT or WWE. You got Wes Lee versus Zachary Wentz in a single match.
Wesley has to win this just for me because there's no reason Zachary Wentz should be with Gigi Dolan in real life.
Now that's just that player hating comment of the year.
Hey, I've always wanted to go to the player haters ball ever since back in the day when Martin did it.
Damn. I didn't know Martin. I didn't know Martin did a version of it. Everybody remembers the Chappelle version of it.
He had Jerome. Jerome was in the player
in the house. Watch your mouth.
Watch your mouth. Yeah, Jerome was in the player haters ball.
That's hilarious. Hey, everybody, shout out to Martin. I gotta go back and watch.
Wes Lee for whooping Zachary Wentz's ass. He can't fight.
Yeah, I don't think they let TNA person win, and Wesley just turned heel, so I think Wesley gets the win on that one. You got Chase University, Andre Chase and Ridge Holland versus Nathan Frazier and Axiom for the NXT Tag Team Championship.
I believe Chase U keeps this one. They just got it. They can't lose it again already, right?
Yeah.
unless there's some kind of Ridge Holland and Thea splitting off from Chechu, which I do see that happening eventually.
I can see that happening. I don't see it happening right here. Nathan Frazier and Axiom, they both can go, but it's always just been a weird tag team because I don't know. I'm a traditionalist. I like to see matching gear and tag team name, and it's just been their own separate thing. I thought they were gonna lose it a lot sooner, but yeah, I got Chase U winning, and I think Nathan and Axiom will go do their own thing finally. Um, Next match, what you gonna
I
say?
hear you with the tag thing, but I think Frazier and Axiom, when they do go their separate ways, I don't think they'll be as big. I think being in a tag team, like I think their tag team works. I do agree. They probably should have got matching gear a long fucking time ago and actually came up with a name, but it is what it is.
Oh, once they break up, I don't think I think it's only down but there, but I just think that's what's gonna happen. I don't think they're gonna go anywhere. But next match, our guy Obafemi versus
Ooh,
Tony D'Angelo with Channing Stacks, Lusa Crocifino, and Adriana Rizzo. I don't know why they'd add that part in, but it's for the NXT North American Championship.
Oba's got this.
Yeah, man, you built him as such a dominating force. I don't know who's gonna take it off him. It's gonna be like so far out of left field, like an underdog, undersized underdog that gets the surprise roll up or something. Like who beats this guy at this point?
Maybe Oba comes and takes the fucking Intercontinental title from Braun and
Mm,
forfeits North American title like Paige did back in the day.
hey, that might be the only way you could go at this point. But yeah, we both got Oba.
Yeah, he's too
Next,
big, too good to lose to anybody on NXT right now.
yeah, I don't see it happening anytime soon. But next match, singles match for the NXT Women's North American Championship. You got Kalani Jordan versus Wendy Chu. This I like the original Wendy Chu character. It was playful, it was funny. She was like kind of like the NXT version of Orange Cassidy, like a sleepy person. But this zombie thing ain't working for me. I got
No.
Kalani winning this one.
I think it's time for Kalani to lose, but I don't think Wendy Chu's the one to beat her.
Mm, yeah, it's you gotta admit sometimes when you're wrong. Like I think they could course correct Wendy Chu. Like this zombie shit is weird. So go back to
Right.
uh, next match. One of me and Rucker's favorite woman on the roster,
I miss Parker.
Ada Parker, your challenger versus Roxanne Perez, Roxy. Singles match for the NXT Women's Championship.
I don't think Jada's ready to be NXT Women's Champion.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Jada's the person to beat Roxy Perez. But when you put these two in the ring together and they're standing there and Roxy comes up to Jada's fucking belly button, there's no way Roxy should beat Jada Parker. And I'm going to throw all logic out. I think Jada Parker is your new NXT Women's Champion.
Well, I'm gonna go to the logical side. You said all those things, but you're just gonna pick Jada for all the reasons that you said. I'm not picking Jada. I got Roxanne retaining. I think it's gonna be a good match though. This is definitely Jada's chance to shine and show that she belongs up there. But I think it's just
Coming
a
out
little
party.
bit, yeah, just a little bit too soon. So got Roxanne retaining, and I know this is the lazy thing to do. I just think one of these women coming in, yeah, Julia or what's the girl coming in from CMLL?
Stephanie Vakir.
Yeah, Stephanie Vakir. I think one of those will probably be able to take it off Roxanne. But we'll see. And your singles match for the NXT Championship. Say his name and he appears. Joe Hendry versus your champion, All Ego Ethan Page. And this may be breaking news because we hadn't gotten a chance to watch NXT yet. It says Trick Williams is your special guest referee on here, so maybe that's how they kick the show off. But That's the match.
I don't. Why is Trick not getting a world title match?
He hadn't earned it yet, I guess.
He was the fucking champ.
Yeah. We know automatic rematches aren't really a thing anymore, huh? So maybe that's
But you. What's the young cat's name? He won the battle royal.
Joe Hendry?
No, black dude.
Oh, bouncy. He's bouncy.
Yeah, he won the battle royal to fight Trick, and then because Trick lost in a tag team match to Shawn Spears, he gets put in the match. And then Ethan Page just comes out and says, I should be in the match too. He gets put in the match. Now he's the champion. How does Trick not deserve a world title match to earn it? He should just be able to come out and say, hey, Ethan Page got lucky. Like,
yeah. And Javon Evans, the young kid, he's got some upside. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense because he didn't get pinned. That's a easy way to get your rematch. But what they did was he got distracted by Pete Dunne attacking him from nowhere. So I get why. But it just
and then he lost to Pete Dunne. What the fuck?
Yeah, he did lose to Pete Dunne. I guess they're trying to, build a mountain from the climb to get back to it. I'm not the biggest all ego fan, so I don't even know why they did it. It's just a little wonky. I don't think Joe Hendry's winning. I got all ego winning.
Yeah. Ethan Page is winning.
But I'm not a fan. For some reason, I've never been a fan of Ethan Page as a singles guy, even when he was in AEW, because he was with Scorpio Sky, but they weren't like official. They were the men of the year, but they were kind of almost like their own thing, but a tag team. They weren't like I liked them with the North. I liked him and Josh Alexander together. Like him being the mouth of the group and Josh Alexander being the wrestler. I like that. But ever since he went to AEW, I'm like, oh, this is weird. I was a fan of Scorpio Sky more than him.
Who's had the bigger world title win? Ethan Page or Josh Alexander? Which world title would you, if you were a wrestler, which world title would you rather have? The NXT World Championship or the TNA World Championship?
Man, that's a good question and very complex question because both of them had this highs and lows because, the black and gold era when Finn Balor and Nakamura had it, that was really prestigious. But then the 2.0 era kind of took some steam off of it and TNA has its up and down. Man, that's a good question. I say like sometimes one is hotter than the other. Shit, I don't know. I guess
I would.
TNA. I don't know.
It's a crazy. I don't know why I thought about it, but when you said the North, I thought, damn, they both become world champions just in different brands. But I would rather have the title that Sting, RVD, Kurt Angle, Christian Cage, Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, like the lineage of the TNA / Impact World Championship has Hall of Famers in it.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason though. But if you look at modern right now, I'd take being NXT champion over TNA champion because you got more eyes on you.
That's probably why I said TNA, just because of the lineage. I mean, yeah, NXT is always gonna have the built-in bigger audience because TNA, I don't know their situation, but they're on fucking Access. Nobody has Access. They need a new TV deal. But that's a story for a different day.
Well, that's all we got, EJ. Unless you got anything else you want to get out to the people before we get up out of here.
No, like you said, it was an action-packed show. We had to preview both shows and went over that All In and all the things in between. But shout out to everybody. Keep those questions rolling in. All those were good. So
Yeah. I do like the question segment. Shout out to Nico Dad, DSG, Peteopolis, Brian from 80s Wrestling. And if I missed anybody, I apologize. But the question portion of the shows, it's really good to just get questions or comments from people now that we're not live to see what the listeners are thinking about wrestling. Another big weekend of wrestling coming up. Um, Football season's about to start. Like, it's about to get hectic around here, EJ. We're gonna have to start making picks. I still owe you a bottle of alcohol from last year's football picks.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Thanks for reminding me.
But if you don't have anything, EJ, I'll go ahead and sign off for EJ Reed. I'm Chris Rucker. Thanks for listening again. Until next week, this has been Boot to the Face. Peace.
Got it bumping. Leg drop, boot to the face, we won't fold. Quick to put a dude.